Hey everyone, welcome to Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now in this video, I am joined by Chris from Discover Montreal, and he is here to give us the latest scoop on the filming locations and all of this current Scream 6 happenings that are taking place in Montreal as we speak. So buckle up and get ready, because it's showtime. Let's go. Hey everybody, it is Craven Something Scary here. Welcome to today's video update. I'm so excited for this video. Been planning this for over a week, been teasing it now. And you guys see I've got a special guest for this update. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my buddy Chris from Discover Montreal. Hey Chris, welcome.
Hey Craven. Hey everyone. Great to be here. Really excited.
Oh, same here, man. Thank you for making this time to come and hang out here. And as you guys know, I've done several Montreal video updates with pictures and exclusives. And I always talk about Chris on the videos. Like, this is the man right here.
Here I am.
Got him right here on the camera. This is my roaming reporter, if you will, Chris.
I'm real.
You are. Exactly. You're not a fictitious person or a phantom. Chris is the real deal, and he has been so gracious to provide me with pictures and updates through email, and it's just been such fun. And so I said, Chris, I got to have you on here to come and give us updates and talk about the amazing city that you live in. And he said, yeah, I'll do that. So I'm so thankful you're here. And we're going to have a good time.
I'm very excited.
Me too, man.
We're going to get carried away.
Oh, yeah. This is. I can already tell. I mean, we've been talking for a long time before we were recording, guys. I can already know how awesome this video is going to be. Yeah, seriously.
Yep.
for real. And so, all right. So I think what we'll do is let's talk about Montreal, and maybe we start back, because one of the things, Chris, that I've been saying since they announced this movie was coming out was that I found out, well, first of all, even before I found out, I said, oh, they're probably going to be going to college. It's the natural next step for Tara, Chad, and Mindy, and it follows Scream 2, so if you're going to pay homage to Wes's second film, then this is kind of what you would do. And you have Gail in New York. I said, this is the way you do it, is Gail's in New York. They all leave California. They get far away from Woodsboro. They go to New York, and they go to college there. Gail's there with her show. She lives there. So when the murders start happening, it's very organic to the story that Gail's there. She's not like forced in.
Exactly.
Well, I started banging that drum when they announced the sequel. I mean, way back.
Not that probably I'm trying the first. I don't know if I saw anyone else talking about it.
You know what? I'll let you say that. I won't say that, but I don't know if I was or not. But I can tell you,
at least the collective, the four of you were talking about it. You were all bouncing it back.
Yes, way back.
I think Jake sent that. Jake said, usually they use Montreal for New York. They also use it for Europe. Most American films use it for Europe, but it's New York.
Yeah, man.
John Wick is shot here as New York.
Oh, nice. Was which one? All of them?
2 and 3.
2. Oh, nice.
Like,
man.
Is 2 the one with the pencil? In the underground part where he's.
I think it's 2.
2. There's the one where the LED screen where he's fighting a woman who's got like a violin. That's in the underground city in Montreal. Then he walks through a subway tunnel where he gets the pencil. That's all in the underground. Nice. The Amazing Race went through there too, which is kind of funny. Oh, wow. It's a beautiful spot.
It's awesome, man. Well, I can't wait to hear a lot more about these scenes and these settings, because they look amazing. And whenever this stuff came out, I said, when I found out on a live stream, I was actually on a live stream breaking some news on Jake's channel about McGill University, and he's like, what? And I said, man, they're filming in the summer months, which is when summer school, summer session's out. Yep. It's just summer school. It's summer break, and it lines up perfectly. And McGill's a university that's friendly to filming. Lots of films and TV shows. So you have those two, and then when I saw the production offices are located across the street. I mean, I mapped it out on Google Maps, literally across the street from McGill. I said, I think I've got something breaking here. I got to get this out. And I went on Jake's live stream and broke it there with him. And so then I started looking at pictures of the university. So I want to ask you, first of all, Chris, let's just start there. Tell us, what do you know, what have your ears on the ground heard, you and your friends, about McGill University? What can you tell us about it?
Well, I think it's mostly the assumption that it's going to be filmed there. Scream 2, the fact that the production office is literally across the street from the whole university. And it's just, I think it's like hundreds of films have been shot there. Steve Carell, Get Smart. Out of that, the photo you just posted, they had a car shootout from the front there with Anne Hathaway, I believe.
Yep.
They just shot one with Gary Oldman a couple years right before COVID. So, and it's very historic. It's where basketball came out of. It's where hockey, North American football. Houdini famously went there and ranted about what do they call them? Clairvoyance. He said they were all phonies, and then the next day someone came and punched him at his Montreal show, which led to his death.
Yeah,
there's just a lot of really cool history with that building. And if you're going to do Scream 2, I mean, what a great university to do it at. Plus, if it's a New York setting. It's like right there with downtown. Like the other side of Sherbrooke Street is the towers. You see the production office is in a tower, and it's just towers from then on. So you could get even a shot with the school and have the towers behind and pretend it's New York City. I don't know if I don't know many schools in New York like that. I guess NYU's like that, but but I assume in a horror movie you don't want to name an actual school. You want to create a school.
It'll be a fake name of a school, and because like in Scream 2 it was Windsor College, but it was
Windsor.
It was something completely. I forgot the actual name of the college right now. I'm blanking, but yeah, it'll be some type of a New York college name or something, I'm sure, to indicate it. And it just seems to me all the dots line up with the summer schedule filming, which college campus is going to want you there when there's less people if you're going to invade the campus, and then you have the offices across the street, and it's a film industry friendly school. It just made sense. And now,
but I will say though that the front of it, there's a huge green area, right? You can't see it here, but there's a huge green area where basically the first hockey game was even played. And that is where they use convocation, graduation for. And that's all through June, like right to the end of June almost. Like even last week, I think they were still having tents and everyone was dressed up. So we haven't seen them on campus yet filming. So it doesn't make sense that, they're okay, we knew that. We're going to go in July, because I've been through that campus in July and there's no one there. People use it to get around the city, to get it through it. Yeah. But there's no one there really. So I can see them, okay, we're going to shoot in this area, we're going to shoot in that area. Then when everyone's gone and graduation's over and the school's empty, then we're going to start shooting our stuff. So I could see that with July now around the corner. If it's going to be in college, we'll know in the next couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense, because it also explains probably why we're seeing filming done at all these other locations that have been going on, and why they haven't been at McGill. And now you just gave us some insights. That's good information. So that's the reason why, if they are going to McGill, which I'm standing by, and I think that's where they're going, but they want to get through all these ceremonies and they want to get through all these proceedings. So that explains it, why they're not there yet. And
they don't want looky-loos walking around. Also, I did send you one photo or a couple photos. There were rumors that they might be filming, or they had filmed, in the Islamic Studies Library at McGill, which is a beautiful, beautiful building. There's multiple libraries at McGill, but this one is just stunning. And I mean, come on, for a Scream film?
Oh, man. Could you imagine a Ghostface chase?
A late night study session in there?
Yes, there you go.
And Ghostface pops in? Come on.
Oh, running across the rails, trying to get downstairs. Oh, man.
Jumping from the second story there down.
Oh, jumping onto a table like they're
throwing someone down. I don't know how far
throwing them down
to go with stuff, but I'm assuming they allow everything. So
probably as long as you repair it, if there's damage, you fix it.
Yep.
But and remember in Scream 2, we had the Cece being thrown off the balcony of the sorority house. What if they threw? What if in this their homage to Scream 2 is not outside but inside?
Inside.
Throwing off the second story onto the floor.
I think we all know there's going to be tons of homages to that second film. Although 5 had homages to all of them, which was interesting. So maybe we'll keep going that way.
Yeah, it was like I think 5 was trying to be their love letter to Wes and the franchise, which is where we saw multiple parts of different sequels.
Yeah,
they make their way into it. I think this one, if they're going to still try to pay homage, it's going to be much more laser focused, I think.
I hope.
And hope, yeah, exactly, on like 2. But I don't want them to follow 2 very closely.
Did you hear,
I want them to.
In the last week, there were rumors about that, that someone was saying that they're getting word that it's going to be almost a
Scream 2, right?
Yeah.
Like 2.0. Yeah, well, that's been my concern since all of this started. The minute I saw the McGill stuff, and I was like, oh no, the offices, the school, and I started connecting these dots. My number one concern right off the bat was just please, I don't mind having some homage and tipping the hat.
Of course.
But don't.
I love 2. I love 2 so much.
I love 2 as well. But here's the thing. I have Scream 2. I've got a masterful Wes Craven Scream 2. Make your own movie. Like just don't script it after 2. Like don't try to copy it too close. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people weren't on board with 5. Like to me, 5 does not feel like 1 until the end. Until like everything starts to line up, and then you're like, oh. So that's the letdown for me. But
plus, Chris, they go into. And I say this all the time, one of the biggest things that hurt the ending of 5 for me was that they're trying to go into Stu Macher's kitchen and have a finale. You're trying to do it in the same exact location Billy
You're trying to outdo Wes Craven in the same space.
The same space.
Literally the same space.
It just didn't land, man, right?
Isn't there a line about that too?
What's that? About what?
I think Nev's walking up the stairs on the phone in the same house, really.
Oh yes, she does. In the same house,
but, like,
really.
That was it. In the kitchen scene, there's not even a moment, at least that I remember. There's no moment where like Nev and Courtney look at each other, Cindy and Gail look at each other like, I can't believe we're back here. Oh my, the horror, like the nightmare she must have of that kitchen.
Oh, I know.
There's not even like oh my God, what are we doing here? And we're like at knife point again.
Right.
How could you forget that?
Yeah, I had a lot of issues with that whole.
It's competent
scene.
It's competent. It's not bad. I think that's what's
bad.
amazing about Scream is that they're all like the egg is being carried relatively well.
It's true.
I think 5 is the one that drops the most, but like, come on, I'm like hoping 6 can.
Me too.
Especially because it's in my city. Like I'm gonna.
Yeah, man.
I'm a little. It's going to be special to me no matter what. But I mean, come on, let's make everyone else enjoy it too.
So tell me, how's that going to feel for you? Like when July is almost here, which is the main bulk of filming, obviously, is going to be happening there. And how's it going to feel for you when they get through July? And we'll talk about maybe you coming back at the end of July,
for sure.
1st of August for another update after and see what news you've gotten over the month. But how will it feel when that movie comes out and you're seeing these streets and these houses and these? Isn't that going to be wild, right? To see all of that?
I think it was one of your other videos you were talking about that it was confirmed. Like we got NYPD and FDNY, so we know it's in New York. And someone commented from New York saying, I was born and raised in New York. I always find it funny when I see movies that are not shot in New York but set there because I'm like, that's not New York. But then they said, actually some of these buildings kind of look like New York. So that made me feel good. But the theater I'm probably going to see it at downtown packed, is like a 10-minute walk from where they're filming in the McGill ghetto area that we know that they've been filming. So that, that's going to be cool.
Dude, that's awesome. Let's talk about some more locations here, man. And you are the one that broke this to me, and I shared out first because at least in the circles I run in, was this one I know for sure because you sent me this amazing image of this. Well, first of all, you had the parking base sign,
Yeah, the
and then
parking
you
base.
told me this story. So tell me, Chris, because I've shared it, but I want them to hear it from your mouth. So you come across the parking base sign. You took the picture that you sent me, and then where is it located by? What's this masterful thing that's there?
There's this. So I went walking with my buddy after we went to that area where they were gonna. It was Saturday night, I think, and they were filming on Sunday. They had filmed on Friday. They had security everywhere, cables everywhere with all those alleyways. We'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then just went through McGill, and then we wanted to go up the mountain. And at the base of the mountain, where there's no more housing anymore, there's a mansion. And it had the BKM sign saying parking garage, and that's the mansion. It's called Ravenscrag. It was built, I forgot, 1840, 1850, very historic. It was the guy who owned the shipping boats in the old port of Montreal back in the day. He wanted to have a mansion high enough so that he could see the boats in the port.
Wow.
He wanted to see his boats,
Dang.
There were 72 rooms in the building. Unbelievably lavish. I didn't send you photos. It's so beautiful inside, like every square inch decorated.
Wow.
And I believe there was a fire in the 1930s and they just gutted it. McGill bought it because it's right behind McGill. It's a bit of a ways up the mountain, but it's behind their fields and stuff. And infamously in the 50s, the CIA thought the Soviets were able to do mind control. So McGill was the best at psychological study and invested in the school to do the MK Ultra experiments there. Mm-hmm. So, and we're even, a lot of the survivors today are starting to get, lawsuits and stuff. They're still alive. So it's still part of the consciousness.
Wow.
And that's the base for parking for this film. So it is close to the Milton Park area, they call it, which is the McGill Ghetto where they had been filming. So I can see the streets are narrow. You can't really park a bunch of stuff there. Okay. So if you have too many trucks, I get parking it there. It's free. It's part of McGill, then driving down and doing your filming.
Yep.
But I kind of want to believe that maybe this is the end game and they're looking forward to the third act.
Yes.
And we're going to use it. And yes, the interior has been gutted. There's nothing to my knowledge, but they are filming in the studio.
They could build sets there, right? They could actually.
I think they could build sets inside of it too. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like they could take a crew in there, construct rooms, fake walls, and make it look like you're in a whatever frat house or a beautiful place.
I don't know how it fits in with New York. Granted, like from there you can see the skyline. It's beautiful. You're higher up, so the skyline becomes even more impressive. But there's no mountains in New York City, to my knowledge. So,
sure.
I mean, I went to film school, so I'm thinking that way. But I assume they can shoot around it and make it work. They could also just use the exterior and then build sets in another site in the soundstage.
Yeah, that's very true. They could have people pulling up here, going inside, and then all of a sudden they're inside a soundstage, and they never actually do anything in there.
Notice. Yeah,
you wouldn't have any idea. That's fantastic. Now there's a picture here that Mason Gooding posted. Yeah. This location, so tell us about this location.
It's relatively close to that mansion. It's one of the ways up the mountain. So I think it was like 2 days after they began filming and they had a day off or something, he went and took some photos of Montreal, and he went onto the mountain and he laid in the grass and he wrote some poetry he posted on Instagram. But that was the photo that got me going because that's, I would say, 15 minutes walk from the mansion. And maybe he knew they were shooting on the mountain and he wanted to go explore it, or he just knew that Montreal is named after the mountain, so he wanted to go explore it. I don't know.
Nice. Ooh, so much intrigue and possibility.
And watch it all mean nothing. And
I know.
It's going to be
exactly
Scream 2.0 and not as good. And
yeah, no mansions, no
alleyways,
no
subway chase,
nothing. Oh, let's not. We're staying optimistic, Chris. Fingers are crossed. We're staying hopeful, cautiously optimistic. Now, this next picture I want to show, I'm going to transition us now into some practical shots, locations in the neighborhoods. And I'm happy to say, guys, you who watched the video I put out maybe 2 weeks ago now, and then I had this exclusive picture, and that's all over Twitter now, which I love seeing everywhere. I was like, I know where that came from because I'm the first to post this picture. I can
And
say
I think
that was
HelloSydney.com too, and everything.
yeah, it's like
discussing maybe.
everybody's got it now.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's the same picture. It's like you can they absolutely just took the picture and ran with it. That's totally fine. It's okay. But but Chris is who provided this to me. He sent this to me. I woke up one morning, and Chris, your email said, "Oh, I've got the scoop for you."
Yeah.
Man, I started getting excited. I said, "What's happening?" And this is the image, guys, that started it right here. We have a jack-o'-lantern, not just pumpkins.
Nope.
Jack-o'-lantern. That is Halloween setup. Now, Chris, tell us about this shot and what we were talking about a little bit earlier, and the stuff that I didn't know until just tonight.
Yeah, so I got lucky. I have some friends who live kind of in the area, and one of my friends works in the McGill area, and he walks by that area. He's not even a Scream fan, but he knew how excited I was. And he saw, not the cameras, but the trucks were there. They had been setting up for a while. They had, in Quebec, everything's French. So they had a one-way sign that was put up like in the U.S. on the street sign. So we knew like something was going on. And then this place, for the second he walked by at 7 a.m. or whatever, they had the pumpkin there because they covered it up with a big black tarp. Every other person that went by, I went by later that night, it was covered. You couldn't see. So he just caught this. Like for all I know, 30 seconds afterward, they covered it,
That's so awesome.
I don't know if they wanted that one to get out, but I'm very happy he caught it. And I love the door, the details, and it's just beautifully set up just with the hay and everything.
It's great.
It's a beautiful jack-o'-lantern too. Just the carving of it is quite...
I bet someone got paid handsomely to carve that jack-o'-lantern perfectly.
I was wondering, like that morning, 5 a.m. they're doing
right?
It, right?
Yeah, like that's your call duty for the day. Carve jack-o'-lantern perfectly, So this was really an exclusive shot because, like you said, this was a matter of timing because it was covered up. No one else could have gotten this shot because it was all covered up the rest of the way. And then, didn't you tell me what happened after, like the next day or something? What happened after the tarps were down? The
next day?
Or you mentioned earlier that whenever the tarps were down, right, that this stuff was all gone, right?
Oh well, like when I went by that later that night, it was covered. So they were still, I don't know if they were still filming.
Okay.
But then like I think it was the next day. Yeah. 2 days later, everything was gone.
Yeah, that's what I thought you mentioned earlier. Like there
was no trace that they had ever shot anything or there were pumpkins there.
Yes.
I also want to point out in Montreal, we usually have walk-ups, staircases, but they're usually metal and spiral. Montreal's known for that, the spiral staircases. Yeah. Here is one of the few areas in the city where they actually have the concrete blocks, which is very New York.
Yes, it is.
They clearly did some good scouting and found the right area. Plus, this area I want to point out is called Milton Park.
Milton.
Okay? And I know Milton from the Third.
Yes.
Which is, I think we're going to get to a photo later. They then filmed a few blocks over after Park Avenue in Montreal. And that building, the apartment building, is called Milton. And they put 1939 for the year of Wes Craven as the address. They changed the address of the building, but they didn't change the name of the building. They kept it as Milton. So that was clearly a little
two Easter eggs.
Yep.
One, you got the Milton and you got 1939. It's so cool.
That I'm excited about. They're clearly they're finding the right areas, the right building look, and they're trying to keep it quiet.
Well, Chris, with your help, we're not going to let them. we're going to let them.
We're going to see how hard it's going to be now.
That's right, man.
What if we don't see them anymore? What if they're just in the studio?
Oh, dude, if everything
got everything they need.
Oh, that would stink.
Yeah, this one.
Now tell us about this location, Chris.
This was someone else that took it and posted on, I feel bad, I don't remember, on Twitter. There's some guy, I think, from Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, and he keeps driving in when he can. And he's the one that met Melissa Barrera and said hi, and she was super sweet to him.
Okay.
And they were all they said, okay, we're going to start filming. Can everyone please leave? They were all really kind. That sounds so nice. But I think he's the one that caught this, or maybe it was someone else. But I think that truck there you see is part of the whole crew. So it makes sense. There's also, I don't know what they have outside there on the...
I can't tell what that is either.
Maybe like drawers or something.
Maybe. He's got a white
I mean, it is June. Why does someone have a ghost
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
By the way,
come on.
I just noticed now the face is very similar to Ghostface, isn't it?
It is. Yep, very much.
But like I was saying to you before, the thing that worries me about this is that the greenery. It is not. There's no greenery on Halloween in New York. So how do you film this? Why put it there? That means you're filming an entrance, unless you're filming the exterior. Not the exterior. You're filming an exit. We're inside, and we're just seeing them exit out.
True.
But Montreal is covered in greenery. This is the thing. There's trees everywhere. There's greenery on all the buildings. Why do you shoot a movie in New York in the fall and come in June to Montreal? I don't
know. And I hope this isn't the case, but what if they're doing like a college party, like a costume party, or a Halloween in July party, or Halloween in August, or some kind of like, like they do things out, not necessarily on the day of, like they're just making it. We're gonna. I don't know. That's one thing I could think of, but I hope that's not the case.
Then it's not college, though, is it?
Well, I mean, unless it's some type of a fraternity or sorority-ish thing that they're doing special. But but then why is it at Gail's house?
Yeah.
Or the other house that we think is
true.
Gail's house, and then we see it at this place?
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, come on.
Well, this is the fun, right? This is the fun of like trying to piece this puzzle together, and
it is.
And hopefully we don't have the whole puzzle figured out, because I want to be able to see it and go, oh, connect when we actually watch it,
For sure. And I'm going to hold out hope, man, that it is Halloween. I mean, I really hope it's kind of. I'm going to hold on to that until they're unless they blow that out of the water. Otherwise, I'm going to hold on to it.
I was thinking, what happened? Well, not that pumpkin house, because I feel like the house is going to be used. But what happens if all of this is Stab 12 or something? Like, are we overlooking things here where maybe we're we're flashing back, or moving inside the movie again?
They can't. That's just too on the nose, man. They just can't.
Yeah. As someone said, I think we need to be done with Stab. I love Stab, which is why I love Scream 2 so much, because it started Stab.
Now it worked perfectly in that one. Perfect. That was great.
Perfect.
But we'll see. And now I got one more picture here of the filming locations, and then we're going to get to some overheads and some slides that you made for us.
Oh yeah.
We've got this image.
Oh yeah, okay. That's the building. That's the Milton building there.
Okay.
So they got on the left there, you can see they got the whole thing tarped and covered. All the crews got masks on, so they're taking precautions. What's interesting is they're letting cars go by. So we know that this scene has Melissa and Jenna walking out, because we saw them filming later that night or something, and it's nighttime, and they're walking out of that tarped entrance.
Okay.
That's But
so this is the 1939 Milton building. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. All right.
What's interesting is, I think I even pointed to, there's a crematorium truck there. But then I realized it's in French, so it's a Montreal one. What are the odds that that a French-Canadian truck's going by at the same time they're shooting a slasher film?
That's hilarious. I mean,
unless they're using it and they're just going to like blur it out in post or something.
They could. Yeah. Interesting, man. This is juicy. Now, here are some shots here that this got me so pumped up. And I talked about this on the Lethal Collective episode, but I didn't have visuals and I didn't talk a lot about it, but I was pretty excited. So let's talk about this block here. I could
imagine how they'd have reacted if you had the photos too. It was good enough without.
Yeah, that was great. I love that. That was so fun. So now I know that people can't, obviously they can't see, like I can't put a scroll or anything over this or an arrow, but I see that we've got this. Walk us through what we're seeing here.
Okay,
help us understand it.
This big block here is the first thing that kind of leaked, where we had someone suggesting this was the area they were going to film, and then a couple of days later, the crews started showing up. So I can't point it out, but okay, on the right side, you got like a U and the N building that kind of face each other. Now, if you go left, see the other N, the pi symbol?
Yes.
That's the one that we had with the tarp and the tight brown alleyway.
Yes,
that we had
the
seen
crane.
photos of, right? And they were pretty much parked in front of that. The FDNY NYPD stuff was parked in front of the other two buildings I mentioned to the right.
Okay.
Now, on the other side of the street, I think it's called Hutchison there,
Okay.
they had trucks as well, cranes, wires, and a lot of the wires were going in between these buildings. So they pretty much like locked down this whole block. Mm-hmm. People were still going home though. I saw like they had security at the end of each street, and you had to prove that you lived there, and then security would escort you to your house.
Wow.
And I will say that Gail's house is in this shot. If you go to the left side, Prince Arthur Street there, her house is one of those, like the white roofs.
Yeah, it's over there.
So it's there, and then we have this strip. So this could all be connected, right?
Wow.
They could be using two different scenes and pretending that it's two different areas of the city, or it's all connected, and we have a chase outside of Gail's house into these alleyways. Who knows? You know? Again, I don't want to get everyone excited when it doesn't happen, but
hey, man, that's okay. We got almost a year to wait. It's all right. We can get excited about it. It's all good.
Yeah.
Now you sent this over too, and now
same thing. Yeah.
This is the same block,
so
right?
You can see the darker gray as the buildings, and then you can see anywhere where the buildings are not touching. Mm-hmm. There's an alley, and there's an actual road that goes in between them, in the back.
I see that. There sure is a road there. Yes, I see that.
Yeah, and I will say it looks very New York, like those back alleys with the fences and sometimes a basketball court or just concrete and some trees. So. And it was lit. It was really well lit. I don't think they were lighting it. I think there's just lighting in that area.
Yeah.
So you can do a lot with that.
Oh, that's exciting stuff, man. So now real quick, everybody see that. Now that you've seen this, you can see the U and the N. See it real clearly there. See, there you go.
There you go.
Wow. That's fantastic. Now, you put a couple of slides together that I thought were really impressive. You put together this location slide. So walk us through here of what we're looking at here on this image.
So these are rumored areas they've already filmed, and the production office. So there we go up right at the foot of the mountain is the mansion, which people can now see. Like if you want to film something behind that mansion and that's your base for parking for the crew, it's literally a stone's throw. You can go right into the trees and film whatever you want.
Wow. Yeah.
B is McGill, which is the heart of it. It goes in that whole area, though. C is the production office where the crew is based.
Okay.
D is the rumored Gale's house. E is that block that we just talked about. See how close they are?
They are right there. You're right. They sure are. Yeah.
And then the Milton building that we showed is further east.
Okay.
And which I found interesting too, because there's a lot in that whole area. Apparently, back in the day, they were going to bulldoze that whole area. And they kept it, and thank God they did.
Wow, no doubt. That's awesome. It's all this work has been done right here in this. And look at that city, man. Look at the skyscrapers. It's so much
very dense. It's very
dense. That's the word. Yes, it's very dense, and you can imagine being down there at ground level how much that would feel like being in New York. You could fool us. I've gotten to the point where I could believe that. Yeah.
And you know what? I'll say other than McGill there, we know that they've filmed in all the other places or have their crew there.
That's right.
So we're just waiting for B to become official,
Yes. And here are some images you collected here.
And that's what each of the letters represent.
Each of the letters. Yes. Man. And C, so that's the production office, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if they shoot in there too.
Yeah.
I mean, usually you don't. I don't think you want to have your sets and your production separate. But I mean, that area is so dense with skyscrapers that if you were to go up on a high floor and you film out a window, the right angle, I mean, you can have that canyon effect.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine a Ghostface attack? Imagine that being Gail's office or something, and they film her being chased in the office building around the different floors and the stairwells and Man, elevator, just all of that stuff.
And I am going to be so devastated if they don't do any of these things. I mean, when the fans are coming up with better ideas.
I know. And I've had that conversation before with people. I'm like, Radio Silence and Guy, and they claim they're such big Craven fans and fans of the Scream. I'm like, but man, I'm telling you, some of the discussions that we have, I think we could write a movie, bro. Yep. We could write a Scream movie that would be pretty darn good in my book.
That's the magic of the collective, though, because when I hear you guys talking, like Fate throws out an idea, and then it's like, oh my God, right? How could we not do that?
I mean, every now and then Fate has a good idea.
Yeah,
but no, I'm teasing on Fate. I love you, buddy.
Well, Jake doesn't like Scream 2, so maybe.
Well, he claims he likes everything, but Debbie Salt.
Oh, I love Debbie.
And I love
Laurie
Debbie Salt too. Yeah, me too. Buddy.
I mean, I was a kid when I saw that. When she comes out of the door, when you think it's Gail, like Wes and Kevin. Yeah, it's Gail. She just watched Dewey die. It's Gail, and you go on YouTube and you watch reaction videos of people watching it for the first time now, and they're like, Gail, like they. Yeah. I don't know how he did it. They completely make you believe for half a second. And
that's right.
Just here comes Aunt Jackie, from Roseanne, and it's just like
Billy's mother.
It's awesome. So and the whole crazy with the eyes. I mean, I think Mickey was disposed of a little too quickly, but
me too.
It's also, I just remember being in shock. Like, she's just ruthless.
Very brutal.
And both their motives are great. I remember when the 5 motive was revealed, and I went, oh, okay, maybe. And then it didn't hit the same way. I just don't think, I think if you gave Wes and Kevin, you say, here's the motive, now write a film. I think it would have been like, Yeah,
I agree. It's just a shame that Wes is gone. I tell you, I
remember getting that text from my friend who's a die. He introduced me to Scream in some ways, and he was just like, "We lost Wes." Oh, punch to the gut,
It was so hard, man. It was so hard. I remember that day. I was bummed, man, for a while, and even to this day now, like when you think about the projects that could have been, stuff he was working on, like he was working on 2 television shows for Sci-Fi Network. He was working on redoing a new People Under the Stairs movie. Wow. He was going to do it for another one.
Look at this guy. He just a furnace of ambition, He couldn't stop. No. And the fact that he reinvented horror in 3 decades is
incredible. 3 decades.
You got to love him. Gosh. And the sweetest guy too. The nicest guy, like this guy is creating this macabre stuff. Really,
amazing. And that's what I love. Like when I got to talk to Nancy Ann Ritter from Scream, and then Lynn McCree, who plays Maureen Prescott, sharing her experiences with Wes on set, and they're all just nothing but glowing about how amazing he was.
I've never heard a bad word.
No, nothing. Nothing at all. He was just totally supportive. First class, so everyone says, all the way. And how he treated his people, his crew, everybody. So that's why guys worked for him for 15, 20 years. He used the same crew from movie to movie, because those are his people. But
I have to say, though, I remember when they announced Scream 6 for Montreal, and I said, I don't think he would have filmed it in Canada, though. I think he would have stuck with America, with the U.S.
I think so.
He got close with Michigan, but
yeah, he did.
But, for those tax credits. But
Hey.
If only he knew. You just hop the border and it becomes Canadian dollars, and 35 turns into 45 million.
That's true, buddy. I mean, who knows? He never know what Wes would have done, but he probably would have. He probably would have told the studio, "We're going to stay here and we're going to do it here," and they would have paid the extra money. But I think everything I've seen from Montreal is beautiful. Speaking of Montreal again. Look at that shot.
There it is.
I mean, now. Give me you were giving me some insight on this shot earlier when we were taking a look at it. Tell me about these trees and what's behind these trees.
So Montreal's an island. It's like 5 times larger than Manhattan, and it's basically the downtown core is sandwiched between the river in the distance there and the mountain. And the mountain is Mont Royal, which is where Montreal gets its name. So we have a law that you can't build taller than the mountain, and you can't encroach on the mountain anymore. So like that mansion that we showed before is like one of the last things that was ever built that close in that area.
Yeah.
So it's just thick forest and rugged terrain, and little dips that go up and down with the rock, and they could hide behind rocks. It's not flat, right? And it is a park. You can't really see it from here, but there's an area where there's a lake and there's a huge church, and there's beautiful pathways, and the whole thing was designed by Frederick Olmsted, who also did Central Park in New York. So a lot of films have been shot there as New York, like X-Men.
Yeah.
And a few Paul Giamatti films and stuff. So it's all right there, Like
That's
it's
so awesome,
if they don't utilize it, I'm just going to be stunned. It's like
missed opportunity, right?
You came here. Why did you come here then?
Yeah.
For what reason?
Right.
Oh, just to get the tax credits and the Canadian dollar and shoot at the studio?
Exactly. I know.
I mean, if it's good, I'll forgive it. But I want some chase. Like, that's the thing. I keep hearing, these ideas, and a chase scene through the mountain, through the forest. And he comes. It doesn't make sense that there would be a city there if it's New York. But
hey, man, as tight as Radio Silence likes to shoot, you could get away with a lot of stuff and make it work. I think, and that they've got. It would be huge missed opportunities if they don't at least get a shot of a chase. Imagine just having a chase running in front of the mansion at night when it's lit up. Just having that backdrop would be.
Well, what happens if that's the third act? We get the final chase through the forest, and the mansion reveals itself, and you wouldn't even have to do any weird cutting. It's right there. Yeah. So
that's what I'm hoping for, Chris.
And they're forced in there. They don't realize they're being led there.
That's right. Dude, you've been reading my mind or something? What's going on? Well,
we all have these great ideas that are all sort of similar, and I'm just praying that the writers are hearing it. I'm not going to blame Radio Silence, because they're not writing the movie. I think they made a much better film than the script was for 5, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think all the actors did a phenomenal job. I just wanted more of them. And that's where you really see Kevin Williamson's writing. Like, I feel like we probably didn't get that many scenes with what's her name? Tatum. But somehow I knew all about her.
Isn't that interesting? I was thinking that too. Like, we didn't get many with her, but yet you loved her. You connected with her.
It's that smart writing.
It's the writing. It's making the most of the moments you have.
Every moment is perfectly utilized. And I saw you say a while ago that Wes is a master of pacing, and I hadn't really connected that.
Yeah.
And it totally makes sense. 5 was the first movie I was bored in of the Scream series. I can't remember when, but I remember just being like, okay. And I was even 3 is fun, and
I love 3, man. I think it's a fun little movie.
I don't love Roman because it does do the whole. What's it called when you retcon something? I'm not a huge fan of retconning.
Oh, like he was behind Billy?
He was behind it. It's like then it takes away from Stu, which is the same argument if it's like Mickey loses some of it because it's Mrs. Loomis. It's like, well, the same thing with Roman, kind of taking away from Billy and Stu. But
see, I look at it like this, Chris. I look at it as Roman was the match that lit the fire in Billy and Stu. That's what I think. So I look at it a little differently. I mean, I know what you're saying, and I do see where you're coming from. I just think it's more like the potential was there. They were ready to go. They needed a catalyst, and Roman gave it to them, and that's what sparked them. And then they went with it, and they just. So I don't know. You could make the argument that Roman was the fire that got them to even begin killing. Not that if he hadn't come along,
100%,
they may never have even done it.
And Jamie Kennedy says that in his little video thing, right? He's like, you're going to find out something that was there the whole time that you didn't know. So they set it up, which is what that scene in 5 does with Mindy and when they're, talking about Stab 8, where I remember in that, up until that moment, I leaned over to my friend. I said, I don't know what we're going to do here. And then that scene spilled it all out. And I said, oh, it's going to be, and then that kind of disappears again from what I remember. Like, it doesn't get brought up again. And then they drop it in the end and they explain it all,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the good stuff. Guys, I'm going to have Chris back on the channel. We talked earlier for a live stream where we're just going to like free flow talk with you guys for a couple hours. And we're going to dive into the movies like we're doing right now. This is great stuff. So this is a little tease. I'll be talking to him after this video about maybe getting him back in July. Well, we already talked about it, getting back in July. And I promise you, he's agreed to come back and do this with us again as a live stream. And we're going to have a lot of fun.
That'll be fun.
That's going to be a blast because we'll just go all over the place. And,
how dare you say that about?
oh no, you'd be surprised.
Amber's the greatest killer of them all. Okay.
Oh no. Hey, listen! Everybody on my channel knows. They already know how I feel about Amber. So trust me, it's not. It's going to be fine.
You want to hear something funny? In the theater, when they're all in that, Mindy's been stabbed, and they're all there, and Amber comes in. What did you do?
Yes.
I turned to my friend and said, I knew it from 10 minutes into the film. I knew who both the killers were, but I said, they haven't made any effort to make me think it's not her.
No, not at all. No.
And then when was it Liv, when they're going back and forth?
Mm-hmm.
I leaned over and I said, Liv's going to say, like, I'm not the killer. And I said loudly at people in front of me I didn't even know. I said, watch, Amber's going to pull the gun out and shoot her in the head and reveal herself.
That's hilarious.
And then she did it. And then the people in front of me said, have you already seen this? And I said, no, the movie theater just opened in Quebec again,
Yeah, that's so awesome.
It was still cool, but it was like, it was almost like in my subconscious, though, because of one. Is it one? Where that? Yeah. Which I get the homage, but it's like, it was just so on the nose.
So on the nose. So we'll see what happens with 2. It's going to
be great.
I think it's going to be amazing. And last thing, guys, and this will be our last topic for today because we want to leave you. We want to leave you guys wanting more because again, Chris is going to be coming back. We're going to be talking more about Montreal, and this is now, arguably, we saved the best, I think, for last because Chris is going to break something here that he's not told me. He's known for a little bit. And in fact, we were emailing like a few days ago, and he said, I got something, but I'm going to wait until we're together. And so I'm very excited about this. So you're going to get some scoop right now, and it's your reward for watching the entire video and still being here with us this long. And here's the first part that I know, and then before you give us the news, let me get these pictures off so we can see you, Chris. But tell us, you messaged me and said, hey, I've got news. The filming has now moved out of locations into Mel's studio. So tell us about Mel's, Chris. Tell us what's going on, man.
Well, it's a huge, I think it's like 4 buildings now, and they're building another right along the river. Close to downtown, so it's pretty. What's the word? You can't really get to it easily, and you can't just drive by and happen to see Leo DiCaprio or something. So it's very secure. They've shot a lot of movies there, so many movies over the years, and apparently the crew is great. Everyone always talks about whenever they leave, they say, "Oh, the crews in Montreal are great. They're fun. They have a lot of fun." So we've seen Melissa Barrera there over the last couple weeks, posting photos with their dogs outside the building. And then, 5 days ago or something, the shot of the blood on the hand, it begins. So there's been a murder in there. There's been an attack in there.
Yeah. Someone has died in Mel's studio.
someone is bleeding.
Yes.
But so here's the rumor. Now, I don't want to get anyone in trouble, and this could all be BS. Because I don't even feel good saying it because I'm not sure it's legit. And if it is, I have too many questions. So the rumor is that they're building a White House with a wraparound balcony.
Okay.
And it looks shockingly similar to Sydney's house in the first film. But it could also be a frat house. That's what I've heard. And that it's an homage. But if you're filming in these apartment locations, I don't think you need to build that frat house. Yeah. So I think it was last week, you guys were talking. I think it was The Collective. And you said, we've never seen a Marine scene. That would be a cool thing I've never seen. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, that's a way to get Stu and Billy back, isn't it? Okay, Stu's not in this one really yet, but we're going to de-age them. And by the way, the whole VFX for Billy, Billy, right?
Yeah,
was done in Montreal. It's in the end credits, the Quebec logo. So.
Oh, nice!
So they could just turn around this corner and say, "Okay, can you make Matthew Lillard look young again?"
Yeah.
That could talk about breaking the mold in an opening scene, having Maureen Prescott's murder.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I think that's really out there, though. I don't know how you do that.
I know. Well, my thing is for me is without Nev being in the movie, it's this. How do you connect
exactly
Maureen into the current batch? Because Billy, he's not even related to Sam. Like, we have the Billy's related, but that's the only problem I have with the Maureen scene in 6. Unless if Nev was signed on, I'd be like, oh man, I think that could be really something.
I want to say, I still think, I know this sounds crazy, but the fact that it's shooting in Canada, I know she loves Montreal. Mm-hmm. She just turned down money to shoot in the summer in Montreal, and I know that probably killed her. Like she had to make a statement. I'm all for her. Yeah. But she knew, damn, I know how great that town is. You know? I could have been paid to spend the summer in Montreal, or at least a week or whatever. And I said no. So maybe, and then she burned the bridge a bit, which I loved. Maybe, everything's been quiet since then. Yes. It's only what everyone else thinks. Mm-hmm. And all her former cast members. So maybe Paramount or Spyglass or whatever has, okay, we're going to get you in. We're going to keep it quiet. But then when we start promoting the movie, we're going to make this huge, because I can't get over how many people are like, I'm done with the franchise. It's like, I guess I get that. But if you want her back, you got to support this one or there's going to not be any more.
Yeah. I mean, and that really is the question for me is how much repair has there probably needs to be a lot of repair work done on the relationship between the parties. Whoever these business execs are, and I think it's Lantern who owns the actual owns the rights. I think. Or they don't maybe they're the ones that control the purse. They control the money, and so from what I understand is it comes down to a couple of executives there are the ones that were negotiating and with her agent, and it broke down. But from what she said, they definitely are going to have to come back and be super apologetic. It's going to have to be a sincere thing that Nev, would do a 180 and come back after that, after saying that.
Just give her the money,
I know. I just, again, we don't know all the details. I always have to be real careful because none of us know what the amount was or the terms or what her part was. We don't know any of this stuff. But Nev's not. I give her. I lean towards her because she doesn't have a history of like being flamboyant and making these grand statements for public. Support.
She's Canadian. She's like the definition. She makes me so proud to be Canadian. I mean, everyone knows she is and how sweet she is. And at these, conventions, how kind she is. And every photo I've seen of her with someone else is always a very like authentic smile. And I'm happy to be here. Mm-hmm. And I just can't believe they did her dirty like that. Like, you're moving it to Canada to save some money. And then you can't use some of that money that you saved to get your girl in. Like, you find her girl.
I know you're saving money. Plus, you increase the budget by $11 million over last year.
Right.
So I don't know. Again, I just until we know all the details, we'll never know what happened for sure. But I do go with what Nev said. I do believe she was being sincere. That's just my opinion. And but I still say, Chris, we can't roll her out for 7. I think that she could still come back. And like you said, man, maybe you're right. Maybe they've worked a deal out and said, you know what, just leave it silent. Just don't talk anymore. Yeah. We're going to surprise everyone. Either in the trailer you're going to see her, or you're just going to not see her till the movie comes out.
She could already be signed again, and they're keeping everything quiet because the second you announce that, there's just going to be a little more magnifying glass on the filming.
That's right.
And they don't want that right now. They're still revealing characters,
Yeah, exactly, man. There's, we just had a new one a couple of days ago announced, 3 days ago. So,
which I have to say, like, I'm getting up there. I'm like 33 now, but I don't know any of these people. Like, I thought Scream 2 had a stellar cast. People were like, no, they were all unknowns. Sarah Michelle Gellar was an unknown.
Joshua Jackson and Joshua Jackson. Gellar. I mean, everyone wanted to be in that movie. Omar Epps.
Everyone. Jada Pinkett.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Everyone. I remember watching that as a kid and kind of knowing that everyone was a big star,
Wasn't Rebecca Gayheart in there from
Rebecca
Urban Legend?
Gayheart, Ellen DeGeneres' wife,
Portia de Rossi was in that. Yeah, I mean it's a who's who of people.
Timothy Olyphant was like there, like he was starting to become something.
He
and
was
then
starting
that film,
to.
of course, made him. And then you go and get a 3-time winner Emmy in a row to be your Ghostface, which I still think is one of the coolest. The fact that Laurie Metcalf is a Ghostface, that is so freaking cool.
Billy
And
Loomis's mom. My goodness.
Billy's mother. Everything is just so good.
So good. I agree 100%, man. That's why we're just going to hope that Radio Silence makes a Scream 6, not a Scream 2.
Right. And you know what? If they're going to do it, then you have to homage the chase scenes.
Oh, please.
The best chase scenes in the whole series. So
yes, love them. Yes. I mean, I love watching Scream 2. Such a fun movie. I mean, I like watching all of them, but
they're all fun.
They all have things about them that are different than the others. They all have little things.
Yeah.
But back to Montreal, we're going to wrap this up, guys. So Chris, we know they're in these sound stages, and the latest rumor you're hearing on the ground is that there's a house being built. It's a White House with a wraparound, right, balcony.
I heard that. Oh God, we're gonna get someone fired.
It's looking a lot like. We're not naming names.
There's no names.
No names involved. We're not going to do that. But we respect our sources that don't. We know that's what they do for a living. But what we know is that this set's being built, and it looks a lot like Sydney's house.
Let's just say a White House.
A White House.
But I wouldn't be surprised if all of this is BS.
Okay.
I
fair enough. I
think we'll find out more. But I kind of hope that this is kind of true, but then we just don't hear anything else about it, and it just pops up in the film.
Yeah, man. Because they're definitely at the sound stages. We know that. That part is right. We can be sure of. They're at Mel's.
Sure of that.
Which
is also they didn't say where the cast was staying, but a couple of their photos made me think it was Griffintown, which is south of downtown, which is much closer to the studios, much closer. So you get in a car and you're probably there in 10 minutes. So it makes sense that they're keeping them away from the core.
Yep.
And I still think if there's we need a Gale studio scene. I think it would be much better to film in the studio in that building than to get an actual studio,
Because you can build a whole TV desk, the whole TV studio, all that built and fake.
There's also, I just found this out. There's another further east of there. There's like 4 Mel's. The Mel's 1. Montreal hosted the World Fair in 1967, and they built a huge theater out there, which is where Ed Sullivan did some live shows and stuff. That's Mel's 1 now. So that's a theater building. I don't know if it's been gutted. I have no idea.
Okay.
But I know that's maybe their offices for Mel's Studios. I'm sure it's got a soundstage in there somewhere, or at least some areas where they can make it seem like, you need some, like an office. There it is.
There you go. Well, that's 1. Wow.
So who knows?
Man, it could be in any one of these. There, I guess we've seen too.
So you can see the Metro line being built behind it, and that's where we keep seeing the photos of Melissa Barrera with her dogs and the Metro line behind it.
So that means she's likely here at Mel's 2. I don't know if Mel's 3 is right there with 2.
I think they're next to each other. Yeah.
Okay, so she could be at one of. So she could be filming in 2 or 3 then. One of them, right?
Yep.
Wow.
Day After Tomorrow. Roland Emmerich shot like all of his films there, and X-Men and.
Dude, this is so cool. So we know for sure it's happening there, and sets are being built, obviously, because like you say, these are empty, gutted sound stages. So they're building, and we don't. What are they filming? We don't know. Like you said, Melissa said it has begun. Well, maybe it ended. Maybe they shot the finale. Of course, without Gale there, they probably didn't. But we don't know.
Gale's not even in this movie.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, I still say she has not made an announcement. They haven't announced her in the movie.
Nope. But everyone keeps talking about it. And she keeps talking about it.
Right.
Let's be honest here. She's like, it's a great script, and I got it. And
I've got the script. It's a great script.
I think she's in it. But
I think she is too. I think they're wanting to save it, try to be in a surprise quote, but it's not a surprise, though. That's the thing. Everyone's already saying Gale's in the movie.
Maybe they're keeping it quiet so that they can announce Gale properly, Courtney Cox and Nev at the same time. Okay, we always knew Courtney was in it, but now we're making it official from the studio, and we've made a deal with Nev, and Nev would be very good at saying, they've met everything I wanted, and I'm excited to go up there and do the next film. And then everything gets, I'm done. I can't wait to see it,
Could you imagine? That would be so amazing. We can hold out hope, right? We can hold out hope. Man.
I think it was Jake that was saying, I hope it's Gale focused or something. I think it was him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if we're going to be in New York City, let's be more Gale focused. She's never gotten a Ghostface call. She's never really been the center, although some of the greatest scenes of the series, in my opinion, mostly 2 because of that. And she's great in 3. Forget the hair.
Yeah.
But
she is.
she's, the reason that chase scene in Scream 2 through the sound stage or sound booths or whatever is so terrifying is because Randy just got killed.
That's right.
That was devastating. But I remember we're all going to turn the lights off. We're going to watch Scream 2. By that scene, I had every light on. And I was like walking away from the TV, like trying. I was so terrified. It's so brilliantly shot that I'm like, let's get her in 6. Can you imagine in the studio the same kind of thing done their way? Yeah.
Oh, dude, that would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. I would love that. Seeing her running from Ghostface, being actually chased, and just the suspense that we had in 2. Yep. Just bring it back. Yeah.
The way he just floats in, he really just feels, which is what I actually loved about the opening at 5 when we first really see him, when Jenna Ortega's on the floor and he kind of like gets up and it's like very, I'm like, okay, they nailed that,
They did that whole shot where he gets up in the way, like you say, it's almost like
it's just, you can't even see if it's pleated or anything. It's just.
Nope. And he takes the knife and turns it around like this. Oh man, that was so good. Well, you know what else was so good, guys? Spending an hour with Chris. This was fantastic.
So much fun.
This was so much fun, man. Seriously, I want to have you back. Let's schedule something in July and let's do a live stream together. We'll go live with the community. We'll do what we're doing right now and take questions, and it'll be so much fun, man. So
much fun. I really look forward to it.
Same here. And maybe between now and then, you'll have new scoop. Of course, I know you'll be keeping me posted along the way, of course. I know that. But who knows what we could talk about with location shooting next month. I mean, a lot can happen.
Let's hope they get out of the studio.
Dude, yes. That's what we need. We need them to get done with Mel, get to the McGill. Get out in the open, because then you can get some exclusive shots. You can do all kinds of stuff. And I'm just excited, man, about this whole thing. And everything looks amazing. Thank you for the pictures, the diagrams. This stuff here was just fantastic, man. It really helps to give us a perspective of really where they're at, not because when you see a street, you don't really we see something like this. That doesn't mean, I have no concept of where that is, what that's like. But when you make it make sense like this, and you give us the maps, it just kind of helps us who don't know the area to better feel or better get a feel for it. So great job, man. Thank you for everything tonight.
Thank you.
Was so fun, man. And
awesome.
Listen, guys, if you need to go right now and subscribe to Discover Montreal, I've got a link to his channel in the description of this video now. Just go down there and you'll click it. It takes you right there. He's got amazing content. He even has a video that I make a cameo appearance in. How about that? And the Lethal Collective and a bunch of other people. Jack Stannis is in it as well. Yep. And it's a great video. I love it. And Chris does an amazing job as a content creator promoting this amazing city that one day I will visit.
That would be great.
There'll come a day, and when I do, man, I will let you know. We're gonna have to go grab a bite, hang out, and you can give me the high points.
Oh, I will. I will.
That'd be so much fun. But in the meantime, guys, again, subscribe to his channel. And show him some love here from all of my Cravenites subscribers. Go give him some love on his channel.
Thanks,
and check out his videos. And this is the best time to go check out Chris's channel if you're a Scream fan, because there's so many shots of Montreal in there that really will give you a good feel for the city. And it's done really well. So
thank you so much, sir.
Oh, you're welcome, Chris. It's really my pleasure. And I thank you. And we will talk offline here in just a minute. And I'll meet you backstage here after we wrap up the video, and we'll start talking about that. But for everyone else, thank you for watching. Again, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share it on social media. Let's spread the word. because Scream 6 is going to be here before we know it, and they're already almost 3 weeks into filming. How about that? It's crazy. So
time flies
by so quick. All right, Chris, thank you so much, my friend, and
you're very welcome.
We'll talk soon, and we'll catch you guys later. See ya.
Bye, everyone.